healthcare companies' bankruptcies are up 84%, and this was just last year. The numbers are going to be higher for 2023, and on top of that, folks are commenting and asking the same question at the same time. Is my job safe? Or, Kevin, I'm in the healthcare industry and perhaps others should consider doing the same because it is a recession-proof industry that relies heavily on healthcare professionals. Basically a recession-proof job because we are indispensable with the never-ending need for healthcare, medical care, caregiving, and nursing home attention. Now, folks, I got a lot of information that I want to share with you about this, as well as perhaps maybe a quick and easy answer to the question of, is my job safe? And the short answer is, well, we'll cover that later on in the video. Let me provide you guys with this information, these updates. Let's really go through it, pick it apart, deep dive, and at the end, we can decide based on the facts, based on the information provided, with a reasonable answer to the question, is my job safe? Or is your job safe? Or is any job safe for that matter? And while I have your attention, I want to ask you guys a question and let me know, are you concerned about the economic storm and how your IRA and 401k will fare during these turbulent times? Top experts are predicting now is the time to be protecting your assets with physical gold and silver. Find out why Genesis Gold Group is the #1 recommended company by your favorite preppers and homestead channels. Receive your free Genesis Gold Group's free definitive gold guide today. So just give them a call at 1-800-200-GOLD. That's 1-800-200-4653. And I will make sure to link their info in the description down below. You can check them out online at www.genesisgoldgroup.com. Unsustainable losses are forcing hospitals to make heart-wrenching cuts and closures, according to warnings by hospital leaders. And state by state, breakdown of 76 hospital closures coming, folks. Now let's get right into it. And folks, please stick around, because if you're wondering or having already realized that your job isn't safe and you want to find ways to replace your income, supplement your income, and or create additional income streams, diverse multiple income streams, and potentially passive income streams, starting your own businesses for beginners, getting involved in investments, investing for beginners, and other financial and prudent economic opportunities out there to survive this economic crisis and crash, please stick around. And also, don't forget, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anybody you think it would be helpful to during these times. Check it out, guys. Not quite as beautiful as the other day, but still very, very enjoyable. Just a little bit of sun poking through the clouds here as the waves are crashing down on the beach here. Low visibility. We've got reports of tornadoes actually making their way east through Mississippi, through Alabama, heading towards Georgia. Perhaps maybe this is some remnants of it. I'm sure Ryan Hall has covered this in great detail. Is this natural? Is it man-made? Perhaps a product of our own inputs. So I want to start off here with this update as far as the healthcare company bankruptcies, up 84% in 2022. And this ties into what I've been telling you guys about here recently. You can go back and watch old videos. I actually encourage you to watch previous uploads so you can refamiliarize yourself. Repetition is the easiest way to remember, but it all boils down to, regardless of who you are, how great a job you do, how long you've worked for a company, how much money you have possibly made them. The list goes on and on. Performance reviews, 5 stars across the board. If the companies are losing money, if the economy, if the Fed forces the squeeze and they are not profitable, they have exhausted their credit limits, they're heavily in debt, they haven't been following the 5 basic principles of earning more money and spending less than they make, budgeting wisely, efficiently, especially during these times, eliminating high interest debt, saving and investing. Companies save and invest too, folks. But if they haven't been doing these things, then they are ultimately potentially at risk. Chapter 11 bankruptcy filings for healthcare companies were 84% higher in 2022 compared to 2021. And this is according to a recent report from advisory firm Gibbons Advisors. Healthcare companies are currently working through a hangover as they deal with factors like continually high labor costs and staffing and supply shortages, according to the report. Folks, remember, what did I tell you? The most expensive overhead operating expense for companies is the employee, is the human component, okay? We've talked about this numerous times on multiple videos. The rules are not changing, okay? So this is gonna make a whole lot more sense as we go through this, so please stick with me here. And it says that companies are also facing cost increases amid inflation, low returns on invested assets, and interest rate hikes, all of which constrain a company's cash flow and access to capital. And this is happening, obviously we know that the stock market has been down, crypto market's been down. Hopefully these companies haven't been putting too much money in crypto, because that could see some exponential losses that very few companies could actually weather, as well as other investments like real estate have also been on the decline in some markets. So these businesses, much like the insurance companies are potentially at their greatest risks right now because of all of the payouts and claims that they are going to incur on top of the lowered return on their investments, okay? If you guys want to know more about that, just hit me up, drop a comment, and I can go into greater detail in a future video. It says that from 2019 to 2022, senior care companies accounted for about 26% of healthcare company bankruptcy filings, while pharmaceutical companies accounted for 23%. So this is going to be a very, very important for people in these industries to be paying attention to. If you are in senior care, if you're in pharmaceuticals, okay? This was between 2019 and 2022. So I would anticipate saying that 2023 moving forward until further notice is probably going to be more of the same, possibly even worse, okay? Hospitals made up about 13%, followed closely by medical supply companies and clinics and physician practices. Now, this isn't to say that folks that are in these positions are greatly at risk. Obviously, you know that there was a huge demand for you during the spike of the pandemic, during C-19, but the biggest problem is going to be hitting specific areas, specific towns, specific cities, zip codes, rural areas, certain income brackets, as well as certain specific industries like the senior care, pharmaceuticals. This year, Gibbons expects the senior care and pharmaceutical industries to continue dealing with market consolidation and other financial distresses, with rural and standalone hospitals in particular likely to experience the same. For the report, Gibbons analyzed data from bankruptcydata.com covering filings among healthcare companies with liabilities of $10 million or more from 2019 to 2022, broken out by sector, okay? So folks, if you guys want to go even deeper, bankruptcydata.com. All of this is on the screen for you. And we see here that Integris Health is to eliminate 200 positions, okay? Now, again, folks, I'm not sitting here trying to persuade you into being fearful and adding stress and anxiety to your life. I want you to be aware of what is actually happening. This is actually on a smaller news network, news outlet. This isn't hitting mainstream, okay? Because if you're unaware, you're going to sit back and think that everything's perfectly fine, or everything's, comfy, and you could get blindsided. We don't want that to happen. And it says that Integris Health to eliminate 200 positions due to financial reasons. This has nothing to do with the lack of people being ill, the lack of people being sick, the lack of people needing care. It has nothing to do with poor performance, quiet quitting, or anything like that. It's for financial reasons. Authorities said the layoffs are in response to a dramatic rise in expenses because of labor shortages and supply chain issues. So you're saying, well, if there's a labor shortage, how is that a problem? Because the labor shortage drove up the cost of the labor that they had. The supply chain issues drove up the cost across the board, folks. Folks, I apologize. I realized that it might have been a little loud over there with the crashing waves behind me. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch positions here so I can finish bringing you guys this information and hopefully not having to battle with the audio of the waves. My apologies. But it says that Oklahoma City, Integris Health officials announced that they are going to eliminate 200 positions due to financial reasons, and authorities with the healthcare system said the layoffs are in response to a dramatic rise in expenses because of labor shortages and supply chain issues. They also said that they are not seeing as many patients as they were before the C-19 pandemic. The post-pandemic recovery for hospitals has proven to be financially challenging. Hospitals across the industry are projected to have the worst financial year in decades. The reasons for the financial challenges are multifold, but some include a dramatic rise in expenses due to labor shortages and supply chain disruptions, and significantly lower patient volumes compared to pre-pandemic days. Because of these reasons, healthcare systems across the nation are being faced with difficult decisions. This is coming from Integris. It says here that we have made the decision to eliminate 200 positions, which includes 140 caregivers leaving the organization. The affected caregivers have been notified that their positions are being eliminated, and we will be supporting them with this transition. We recognize the very real impact this has on our caregivers. Not only the caregivers, but the patients as well. The position eliminations, in addition to our focus on the reduction of non-labor expenses, will help position us to remain strong. Integris Health is a forever organization, and our community relies on us to remain strong to continue our mission of partnering with people to live healthier lives. So folks, just being 100% honest, being 100% transparent. These companies, these businesses, they are out there, these corporations, these organizations, healthcare systems, healthcare facilities, hospitals. It doesn't matter. These businesses are focused on the bottom lines. They're focused on shareholders. They're focused on stock values. They're focused on revenues, profits, net income, and as little loss as possible. So they're going to enact a self-preservation mode before anything else, and that will include laying off people who once thought that they were safe in somewhat of a recession-proof industry where they were indispensable. Obviously, there's no question, there's no doubt that we are in urgent need of extreme healthcare across the board, but as far as having the ability to put that to use in a way that's going to earn income and keep you employed and keep you paying your bills and allow you the ability to save money and invest for the future, for your retirement, for your savings, for your health, for your benefit, for your family, for your peace of mind, for your enjoyment. Think about it. You want to come hang out at the beach? You want to take a vacation with your family? You got to have a job. You got to have money. It says that approximately 100 people at OU Health were laid off this week as part of a redesign of the company. So these layoffs are mounting up. We're seeing it in the news from the tech sector, from Google, from Nvidia, from Facebook, from Twitter. We're seeing it across the board, Amazon, Walmart, but some of these other industries are not quite getting the attention that I feel as though that they deserve. And I don't want to throw this in the face of people who have told me and who insist that their job, that their industry, their career is safe because they're in healthcare. I only want to use this as a way to help inform and educate and better prepare those who perhaps maybe are a little bit naive about the possible realities that could exist out there. Employees who lost their jobs said that they dedicated several years to the company, and now they're asking for more answers. Rightfully so. One says, Kalen, a former OU Health employee, says, I'm a Hispanic employee. Patients want someone that looks like them. They want someone that understands them. And that makes a whole lot of sense. But it says here that I'll show it to you guys on the screen here. Employees who lost their jobs said that they dedicated several years to the company, and now they are asking for more answers. So please, folks, don't let the amount of time that you've worked for a company or how long you've been there or how long you've been doing something distract you from the realistic possibility that, you know, the economy is rough, businesses are struggling, money is tight, and this could happen to anybody at any time. Madera County Hospital will close and file for bankruptcy, folks. This is real talk, okay? This is real talk. And it says that Madera County Hospital is filing for bankruptcy and will close its doors to new patients at midnight on January 3rd. The hospital's CEO said this in a news release. Obviously that date has passed, but more importantly, it says that any hospitalized patients will transfer to other facilities by January 17th. And that was yesterday, or depending upon when I upload this video, that was yesterday. But again, it says here, heavy financial losses is the cause, okay? That's what's most important, heavy financial losses, okay? This is what I've been telling you guys about since last summer, was that these losses were coming. These losses were going to be realized. They were going to be analyzing their balance sheets. They were going to be analyzing their financials. They were going to push through the end of the year, but beginning of 2023, we're going to be some huge changes to these businesses in the red. Now it says here that this is a great loss to the community. Madera had 106 acute care beds, a 16-room emergency department, and an intensive care unit with 10 beds. The hospital closed its emergency department on December 30 and all other services on January 3rd. The hospital's clinics are set to close January 10th. Obviously, this is past date, past tense, but folks, December 30th. I mean, we were one day off from the end of the year, obviously, because December 31st is technically, most people don't work because it's New Year's Eve. This is what I was telling you guys about. And I'm not sitting here trying to throw this in your face and say that, you know, I knew this was happening and, you know, everything that I predict comes true. But the simple fact of the matter is that it's not hard to really pinpoint and pick out the possible outcomes that could occur based on all the negative inputs that we're facing. Think about it. High inflation, high costs, supply chain issues, higher interest rates. The Fed, Jerome Powell, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell himself said that the goal was to soften the economy, shrink balance sheets, and pain will be felt by businesses and families, anticipating 1.2 million jobs lost. But now we realize that obviously that number is going to be low, and more than likely we're seeing expectations from experts and economists of at least 2 million jobs lost and an unemployment rate of over 5.25%. And it says here that 19 hospital closures and bankruptcies in 2022. So this just further proves the point that it is not necessarily a recession-proof industry, and not every healthcare professional is going to be indispensable. This could happen to anybody at any time, okay? Franciscan Health in Indiana. We've got St. Luke's Health System in Kansas City, Missouri. We've got Ascension St. Vincent Dunn in St. Louis, St. Vincent Charity Medical Center in Cleveland, Hazel Hawkins Memorial Hospital in Hollister, California, Wellstar Health System in Marietta, Georgia, Pipeline Health System in El Segundo, California, Berwick Hospital Center, Pennsylvania, Blessings Health System in Quincy, Illinois, Borrego Community Health Foundation in Borrego Springs, California, Shore Point Health Venice in Franklin, Tennessee, Santa Cruz Valley Regional Medical Center in Green Valley, Arizona, Patients Hospital of Redding in California, Wellstar Health System closed Atlanta Medical Center South in May, Cleveland Emergency Hospital shut down in Texas, Audrain Community Hospital in Mexico, Missouri. I don't know, there's a Mexico, Missouri. And Brandywine Hospital in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, West Reading. And Cottage Hospital in Galesburg, Illinois. And folks, bankruptcies, hospital closures, bankruptcies could see uptick in 2023. So this is not just my opinion. These are headlines. These are headlines making the news that you may not have seen. Many hospitals and health systems are on course for the worst financial year in decades, and more hospital closures and bankruptcies could be on the cards next year. And this is according to recent reports on the state of hospital finances in the U.S., as hospitals' expenses are expected to increase throughout the remainder of 2022, leading to an increase of almost $135 billion over 2021 levels. Labor expenses are anticipated to increase by $86 billion, while non-labor expenses are projected to increase by $49 billion. And it says that there are 631 rural hospitals, equating to about 30% of all rural hospitals, at risk of closing in the immediate or near future due to persistent financial losses on patient services, inadequate revenues to cover expenses, and low financial reserves. And this is according to a report from the Center for Healthcare Quality and Payment Reform. Rise of urban hospital closures causing access problems as well. So it's not just rural, it's urban areas too. You guys heard the list, but the rural hospital closures put a strain on other nearby hospitals, okay? This is from Physicians Weekly. So as they close down, much like the grocery stores, much like Walmart's, much like other businesses that are shutting down, we know that the customer base, the foot traffic, the people who would regularly visit these locations are going to have to change and end up going somewhere else, which then adds to the influx and overflow, potentially delaying and complicating procedures and care, reducing the amount of available beds and staff. And it says here that following a rural hospital closure, nearby hospitals see increases in emergency department visits and admissions, according to a study recently published in the Journal of Hospital Medicine. And it said that these findings predict a daunting future for rural healthcare. And this study suggests a significant spillover effect on hospitals within the geographic region and a cyclical process at play in the rural healthcare sector. Billions in losses and negative operating margins expected to be commonplace through year end have hospitals warning of service closures and potentially systematic collapse without immediate outside support. Anywhere from 53% to 68% of the nation's hospitals will end 2022 with their operations in red versus 34% reported in 2019. And folks, this is just a small taste of what is occurring with an unstable losses are forcing hospitals to make heart-wrenching cuts and closures. In either case, hospitals stand to lose billions of dollars in 2022, and this is according to Lisa Goldstein, Senior Vice President at the Kaufman Hall, which said that it will be the worst year since the start of the pandemic. About $86 billion of that expected increase is tied to labor, which traditionally encompasses about half of a hospital's total expenses. Half, folks. Contract labor that normally constitutes about 10% of a hospital's salary and wages budget was responsible for a third of the increase, and Goldstein said that the contract labor remains in elevated demand as hospitals across the country contend with a workforce shortage. Nonprofit health system executives participating in the AHA's call said that the projections translate into grim consequences for hospitals and patients forced to travel further, wait, or even forego necessary care. And we know that that's not even an option for some folks, so this is really going to be detrimental. The numbers are all going in the wrong direction, and I'm concerned we're going to see more healthcare providers close as a result of the current financial reality, which will impact access to care. Now, this is from Jack Lynch, President and CEO of Mainline Health, a 5-hospital nonprofit system serving Philadelphia and its western suburbs. And it says here that in my 35 years as a healthcare leader, this is the most fragile I've ever seen the American healthcare system. These losses are unsustainable and will impact our ability to meet expectations and healthcare needs of those in the community. Peggy Abbott, CEO, said the hospital's year-to-date revenue is down 4%, while its salaries and overall expenses increased 9% and 12% respectively. Folks, this is unsustainable. The hospital is truly operating on a week-by-week cash basis and has had to resort to voluntary pay cuts and reduced hours to keep functioning. The staff shortages are like nothing we've ever seen before and have forced Trinity to take 12% of its beds, 5% of its operating rooms, and 13% of its emergency departments offline. We have some locations with as high as 20 to 25% of their beds offline and half of their operating rooms and diagnostic service offline due to nurse staffing shortages. We are doing all we can, including innovating how we deliver patient care, but it isn't enough. Hospitals, long-term care facilities, home care, and physician practices lack the resources needed to solve the healthcare workforce crisis ourselves. The shortages and losses are forcing many providers to pick and choose which services and locations they can still afford to run. Abbott said that the Ouachita County Medical Center recently made the heart-wrenching decision to close a rural clinic in a poverty-stricken community 20 miles from the main hospital. The clinic had operated for 25 years at a consistent loss that the rural hospital could no longer justify covering. Man, that speaks volumes, folks. Again, remember, there's a list of state-by-state breakdowns, over 76 hospital closures and counting. So folks, we have to be aware, we have to be smart, we have to pay attention to the warning signs and the headlines. Folks, this is real talk, this is news, this is really going on, this is happening, okay? So what does this mean? It means that we are in store for a potential crisis within our economy, obviously, and the healthcare industry as far as employment and patients receiving care. So we'll have to ask the question again, as I did earlier in this video, which was, is your job safe? Well, short answer, I would say no. I would say no. Only for the simple fact of the matter is that I don't want to put myself in a position of comfort and complacency, ultimately allowing me to maintain a high level of ignorance and maintaining this naive assumption that I will never lose my job, I will never be replaced because I work in healthcare. And it doesn't have to be just healthcare. It could be a variety of industries, folks. The costs exist. The high prices are there. The labor shortages will mount as a result of companies and businesses unable to afford it anymore, forcing closures and shutdowns and pullbacks and voluntary pay cuts, and the list goes on and on. So what do? There's a lot we can do. There's a lot we can't do at that. And with that being said, folks, I really hope that this doesn't negatively impact too many people, but at the same time, if you find yourself in that situation or know anybody else who may be in that situation, please look out for them so that if they have to travel further distances to reach healthcare, reach hospitals, their local hospital's been shut down, or whatever possible obstacle and hindrance that they face, try to give them a helping hand in the meantime until we can form a solution. I'll continue to do more research, bring you guys more updates, and as always, if there's anything in particular you want me to cover, drop a comment down below, let me know. If you made it this far in the video, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, bye.